thank you, Miss Marilyn. And then you guys don't forget also, if you're a Sterling Circle member, we have on April 19th a really special program coming up, which is so exciting. You should have already gotten your save the date, but if you didn't, make sure you save that date because we're going to be going to Cinema Paradiso for a light breakfast. And then we're going to be watching The Librarians, which Larry and I have already seen. We were really lucky to get to see it with the producer and a huge cast of people they interviewed. It's so exciting. And our county council member, Beam Fur, will be there. So, and there'll be other guests of honor too, but that is going to be really an exciting thing, especially because we're so involved with the library. And this is all about Florida and challenging books, not necessarily banning books, but challenging books. So it's a wonderful movie. I highly recommend it. I can't wait for this to happen. So anyway, let's see if we can find Mr. Shelley.
He is Shelly. You're muted.
There he is. Shelley, unmute yourself. I didn't do that this time, Shelley. I swear to God.
He muted. Okay.
Well, I figured maybe.
Not this time. I have done that in the past. But you guys, we are going to mute everybody else just so we keep the background noise down. And Shelley, there you go, buddy. Take it away for us.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all, especially for a comedy. A comedy. Yes, this is this flip side of the film 2 weeks ago when we saw a terrific classic film noir. Now we jump into a comedy, which has been one of the highlights of Japanese cinema over the last few years. Key of Life. It's by a young man who made this film. He actually attended school in the United States. He went to film school at San Francisco State. And he did this film and won a number of awards. And one of the appealing things about movies, especially this one, is that it gives us a chance, like the character, to sometimes step into the lives of others, adding to our experience by allowing us to briefly adopt the perspective of someone else. And this film does that in so many ways. It's a constantly surprising and overall enjoyable film. And I hope you found it as enjoyable as I always do because I've seen it so many times. It kicks up that sense of virtuality to a new level in its funny and fascinating portrayals. I think that switching or mistaken identities has long been a staple of Hollywood comedy, but here we look at it through a Japanese lens. And it is, I think to me it's reminiscent of Billy Wilder, with touches of Some Like It Hot, as well as the wonderful Trading Places, if you remember that one, with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Key of Life finds its appeal with this funny and fascinating idea, with the portrait of two men suddenly thrust into each other's identity, and how grappling with it brings unexpected and surprisingly hilarious results, especially when we realize how everything hangs on a bar of soap. Everything hangs on a bar of soap, if you remember the beginning of the film. It's quite literally everything. Film noir, suspense, romance, crime, mystery, bloody mayhem, and above all, screwball comedy, farce, and even slapstick. And even slapstick. It just throws everything into the sink. And where Billy Wilder is concerned, the director, Kenji Uchida, has said he owes his inspiration for this film to that great director. As you've seen, the lifestyle swap takes place between Sakurai, a struggling actor, so down on his luck it has him contemplating suicide and bringing down the ceiling, and Kondo, who we see as an elite hitman who lives in luxury but is almost completely isolated from society due to the secrecy he must maintain in order to do his business. The hilariously choreographed random accidents in the bathhouse lands Kondo in the hospital with persistent amnesia, and by a fluke has put the key, thus the key of the title, into Kondo's locker into Sakurai's hands, along with identifying documents and personal items, which provides Sakurai a no strings attached opportunity to escape the drudgery and indebtedness that's left him so depressed. Each man's relative anonymity provides the perfect cover for them to pick up where the other left off. The amnesiac is released from the hospital, trying to make sense of the chaos and confusion he discovers when he returns to where he thinks of his home. And the novice assassin for hire settles into his predecessor's meticulously organized routine, with this strong premise for comedic juxtaposition. And we can't help but laugh at these two conflicting personality styles, struggling to fit into schemes quite unsuitable for their respective temperaments. But the director doesn't just leave it at that. He introduces a subtle satirical take on contemporary Japanese romance into the mix through Kane, a magazine editor whose hyper-organized, controlling personality rivals that of Kondo for overbearing attention to detail. You have to love the scene in her office when she announces her impending marriage without even knowing who the prospective groom will be. Adding Kane to this crazy quilt of a plot rounds out the broad comedy of professional killer and stumblebum actor ineptly replacing each other with a more humane exploration of that relentless tendency so many of us struggle with to somehow reach beyond ourselves, to create something more than the ordinary routines we're used to, whether that's through new intimate connections, her search for a husband, financial stability, Sakurai's quest, or reconnecting with basic emotions like empathy and compassion, Kondo's desire for social reintegration. I'm sure for you, it all added up to how much fun watching, and for me, rewatching Key of Life is. It's impossible not to laugh at Sakurai's bumbling efforts to come across as a stone cold badass when his professional services are once again demanded of him in a face to face encounter with that treacherous mob client who has another job for him to execute. It's just as absurd as Kondo's bewildered endurance as he keeps trying to put together the scattered pieces of his life into something coherent, and Kane's ultra calculated search of suitable candidates for marriage. The scenes when Kondo gets cast as a gangster and his meticulous ability to adapt to being an actor, his attention to detail. He reads all the books that Sakurai never picked up as he yells at him. But he keeps meticulous notes, and his ability to adapt are really fun to watch. As much as Sakurai's attempts to save the dead guy from the beginning's girlfriend, how he tries to keep saving the girlfriend and her son, not to mention Kane's father's funeral, which is one of the high points of the film, when he says if whoever's marrying his daughter, he's going to come back and haunt him as a ghost. With all those video versions that they were trying to figure out. Very funny. Inevitably, we know the crossed up identities have to be discovered, and that transition is just as successfully handled as Kondo comes to his senses and helps Sakurai wriggle his way out of the complicated mess that his ruse created. The revelations of Kondo getting back his memory from Beethoven's music, and learning what Sakurai has done with his fortune, with his money, then teaching Sakurai how to die in a stabbing, and Kanai's discovery of where all the treasure is in the girlfriend's apartment keeps the laughs coming, and are all sufficient to say that the Key of Life never runs out of steam, despite its long 2 hour plus runtime, because usually comedies come in at 90 minutes. This one managed to sustain everything in 2 hours. But then again, this film gets into some heavier areas, especially concerning identity and reinvention, and the question of who any of us really is or could become, as well as the wonderful performances and production values, especially the contrast of Sakurai's and Kando's apartment. I love it when what Kondo does to the apartment, how he straightens it out. Sakurai doesn't even recognize it when he comes to see him. I love the use of the musical leitmotifs in the film, the brightness of Mozart to highlight Kane, and the darker tones of Beethoven for Kondo, and the sort of vaudeville music for Sakurai. The film won Best Screenplay at Japan's Academy Awards, and all three leads deservedly got acting nominations for their roles. And even the brief scene during the credits, and I hope you all sat through the credits because even they were funny, especially with the neighbor. But it all, it all added a nice touch. For me, and I hope for you, it was a great way to end a series on film noir with a refreshingly joyful change of pace in a genre that Hollywood seems to have been struggling with for a long time now. They haven't done a film like this that keeps the laughs rolling with farce that I can remember. But this really, I mean, there are so many little scenes in the film that really work well. I mean, as well as Kondo showing up for a call and becoming all of a sudden becoming a serious actor, which he was all along. Which he was all along, and now he's able to do it legitimately. And Sakurai, who can't get out of his own way, bumbling through all of these things, and he's not a very convincing actor when it comes down to it. And what he does to Kando's car, what he does to his apartment, it all, and that secret apartment on the side are hilarious, where he trains him how to act dead, how to play dead. All I thought was all fun. It was all in fun, and it took the whole idea of turning a film noir because we're so convinced at the beginning. And I'm sure you're watching it and you're saying, what is Shelley having us watch? This guy is a murderer. You think he's a murderer. And then all of this, I love it when he's sitting there, he notices there's blood on his watch and he decides to take the bath, which leads him into the bath. One thing, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine. The film, if you're familiar with the Rube Goldberg machine, one thing leads into another. It all connects and it all comes to a happy ending, at least for Kondo and Kane. So I hope you enjoyed the film, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. If you enjoyed it, why you enjoyed it, and what you got out of it. So who wants to tackle it first? Who wants to jump in there? Anybody? Bobby? And I'll go to you, Jackie. You got to unmute. You got to unmute. Yeah,
How's that?
there you go.
Okay. I still don't understand when looks like he murdered him to begin with. What was the blood? I mean, how did he do that? We saw a blood, we saw a knife, we saw him throw something into the car. I mean, it took me a while. How did he not kill that guy? What did he do with him?
Well, it was a retractable knife. It was a play knife. It was a film knife, what we call a film knife. It retracts when he stabbed him, and he had the blood packet set. He had everything set up because he needed to get the guy he was killing. In case anybody was looking, he needed to convince everybody of what he was doing, and also to be able to for the girlfriend to believe. Not the girlfriend. The girlfriend believed he was off somewhere, but for the mob to believe he was dead and
Dead.
gone. So that's what happened. But yeah, it was all faked. It was all faked.
It
Much
fooled
the way,
me.
much the way he wanted to fake Sakurai's death. It all was for fun in this sense. Jackie.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Shelley. That is definitely our style of movie. It's kind of a noises off and a knives out meets Japan. And we thoroughly enjoyed that, particularly the apartments, because we both tend to be very neat and orderly. It's all put away. But my nieces and nephews look like a hurricane has hit their places. So that was really pretty funny. The only thing, and I talked to somebody else about it, so I have her take on it. At the very end, why did he crash the car when he pulled up in front of her? When the two of them get back together at the very end, why did he, any thoughts as to why he crashed that car?
Well, they were chasing him. You know, the crazy guys were the mobsters were chasing him, and I think he just went off the side. I'm trying to remember. He went off to the side and trying to get away from them because didn't one of them almost knock? He knocked off the door of one of the cars. It was really the car chase. It was essentially
Okay.
the car chase that led him to sort of skid off to the side. Also, it was, you remember the heartbeat? Remember the sister telling her sister, telling Kane, when it's love, you hear dong, dong, dong. And she was feeling the dong, dong, dong.
It was cute, Shelley. Good choice.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Patricia, go ahead.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I just thought it was a little too long. You know, I thought maybe if it had less side plots, or it would have been a little less confusing, because I found myself getting confused and kind of trying to figure things out. So it lost my attention a bit there, especially with the girls. But what I thought was fantastic was Kondo's face, their choice of bad guy. His face was just precious.
Yeah.
And the way, it evolved from being this ugly mobster face to being this gentle, kind, loving person. So yeah, I thought that the actor did a great job in that transition. The others were a bit bland, I thought. Yeah, I didn't care too much about the other actors, but I don't understand Japanese humor too much either. I
Well, it takes a number of films to really get it, but I
Yeah,
think I think what he was doing was he was really channeling Western film. He was channeling the ideas of Western film, and they have to adapt to that idea too.
yeah.
And it's funny that you talk about Kondo. Yes, he had the perfect face of a killer, but yet he had a life before, if you remember, and he was reduced to losing his wife. He was reduced to nothing, and he found a way to get back in. I love it, by the way, and Sakurai was just bumbling all the way through. When he pretends he goes up to the journalist's office, to admit that he's the guy, he looks through because they wrote about him. I think that they had too much fun making this film. I believe that the writer who's the director, had so much fun putting it together. He didn't want to leave anything on the cutting room floor. I mean, he had so many bits that he just decided to keep them all. It just tended to run long. It's surprising that it did, but
I thought it was, yes.
I agree. Usually, you want to bring something like this in at 90 minutes. You want to make it quick. But he managed to stretch it out, and I think it didn't have that many, loose spots. So I thought it did well. Thank you, though. Roberta,
Again, am I still?
and then Karen.
I have a question. Is it usual for the Japanese to video their will? like the father
No,
did. Or that
no,
was,
I think that was a device he may have heard of something like it and he threw it into the film. I mean, it is a funny device
yeah.
to get into the film.
Yeah.
It just it's and I know people have since with the evolution of DVDs and technology, people have done that. They have like at Forest Lawn in Los Angeles, you can go and some of the stars have videos, where they're talking to you from the grave. So it's kind of really weird if
Yeah.
you ask me. But it's yeah, it's something that I think he found as a twist, something Mel Brooks would use in a film.
Yeah.
So it's I think he's that kind of a writer that he picks this up, from the influence of other comedic writers. Karen.
Yes, I just wanted to mention I really enjoyed the movie very much. I was laughing a lot. I just wanted to mention a few of the amusing bits that struck me. The first one was really the ambulance crew, how the guy is screaming and carrying on, and it's not like it's a life and death or anything, but he's like screaming and screaming, getting the ambulance going. And then um, the girl, I'm not sure of the names, but
Can I? Yeah,
Kana,
can I?
Kanai, yeah. The Her friend is showing her the pictures, and she shows her one of her husband, and she said, "Oh, I like him," and it's and then the Shiki's suicide attempt with the gun, and he gets interrupted by the phone, and then later on, we find out what the gun really was, that it was like a pop gun or something like that. And then let's see, and then where he found the money, it was in the cookies.
Yeah, the
All
cookie
rolled
jar.
up. It
Yeah.
looks like if you open it up, it looks like a cookie. And then the last one in particular is at the end, where he opens the door and the cat comes wandering in, and the girl behind it. So those were some things I thought were interesting, amusing.
Yeah, they were. I mean, this is, you build these bits and then you have to fit them into this puzzle.
Yeah,
And that's what he did. And I thought he did it very well
definitely.
in the way he structured the film. That's what was really good about it. Well, thank you, Karen. Barbara.
I liked everything about it, but one of the bits I loved was that the guy's ringtone was Ode to Joy.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that was clever.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was long, but I just stayed with it because it was just something new and something crazy. And I've told a bunch of people that you'll really like this movie.
yeah, it's and it's funny because there's a lot of detail in the film. There's a lot of detail in the film.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, and for some people who understand certain things, like when they go back to the apartment after the funeral and they're in the apartment and he's looking at the stereo equipment, and that's all very high-end stereo equipment. It's one of the most famous
Mhm.
brands in the world, Macintosh, and not to be confused with Apple. It's a different spelling, but that's a really good system. And he sees and he puts that and puts the record on the right record that's going to draw
Right.
him right out of his amnesia. And
Mhm.
here she thinks I've got the right guy, and it's going to happen now, and then he's gone. He's at the door. So it was, and how he comes back to his apartment and then discovers what's going on. It was just, he turned his life into the shambles that he was in. He turned Kondo's life into the shambles that he was living in. And now he had to get him out of it and reorganize it. I mean, I love it when they're driving in the car and he looks at the ashtray with all the cigarettes. I mean, everything about Sakurai, he was a mess. And he created a mess through the whole thing. Getting the apartment, pretending with the mobsters, and then they saw through him. And when they eventually see through him, I mean, all of it comes together beautifully. It is hilarious. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, Susan. Can you unmute, Susan?
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me start off. The scene that I really loved was when Kondo, when he thought he was Sakurai, got off the bus to do a little job with the film company. And the film company says, "We need a gangster guy." And he says, "Who are you? You have a great gangster face." And then he does this scene with the gun and everything, looking real mean. And he says, "Perfect, you're a natural."
And he doesn't even know why he is a natural, which is what's funny about it. Just what Patricia was saying. He had the perfect face. He had the perfect face. That's great. Who else wants to dive in with their feelings about the film? Rachel.
I loved the movie. My favorite part was when he's taking instruction on how to die correctly. I was laughing hysterically. I'm like, oh my God. And I loved how the movie began because thought initially it was going to be a movie about her and her trying to get a groom because that could have been a story and it was, but it was a side story. It wasn't the main story, but it was still so clever at the beginning. And how a person would do that at a meeting saying, I'm getting married, and everybody's like congratulating her, and and then they find out she doesn't have a groom, and they don't blink an eye. They really don't say like, "What are you talking about?" They go, "Oh, we'll help you." Like it becomes a mission at the workplace to find her, and she has a date in mind and everything else. And I loved it when her father passed away and that video's playing. Okay, it's in middle of the whole so, basically, the service, and she just stands up and is like right in the front listening to the video. And she tells everybody, no, no, I want him to play this. It was just so cleverly done. It was just, even though it was a little long, I agree with everybody, but it was worth it. It was worth it because it was fun, it was light, and it had these crazy moments that it reminded me of the type of kind of movie of like a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown. That
Ah,
kind that kind of like crazy ball things that happen. But it was very enjoyable. So thank you.
oh, my pleasure. But remarking on that scene when she's announcing her wedding, her impending wedding, I try to figure out who I know that would have a dustbuster in the desk. I mean, we're talking about meticulous. She was perfect for Kondo. She was perfect for Kondo. But the whole idea, the neatness, I mean, I think he's really riffing on Japanese character as a whole, and the idea of it's got to be teamwork. We're going to get, I have to get married, but I need the team to help me. We're all going to work. We're all going to work to make it happen. And it was all in fun. He's even, raising a mirror to Japanese society in many ways, in terms of the neatness, in terms of how they deal with one another. So it hit on a lot of, taking us to the bathhouse, a lot of little cultural things that go on in Japan that he's taking us into, but making it universal at the same time, making it a universal film. That it makes it globalized. And I thought it was a lot of fun for that reason. And my reasoning for putting it in there was to surprise you. I'm giving you film noir, and the first film is so serious and it's deadly. And now, I wanted to turn the tables on you and say, okay, let's have some fun, especially now. Especially now. Yeah, Patricia.
I thought it was an interesting scene when she says she was they make you think that the only reason she was getting married was to make sure she was married before her dad died.
Yeah.
And then her father dies prematurely, or, earlier than what she expected. And then it's like, well, I'm not going to get married now, right? And she kind of, you feel like, oh, she's going to backtrack on everything. And then she doesn't, right? So I thought that was a pretty, interesting twist that they did with the father dying early.
Yeah, and I love the the scenes at the beginning when she's going through, we realize the magazine she works for, or the magazines she works for high-end products, which fits in perfectly when she's in the apartment and she sees the guitar and she realizes where the money is. It's in the whole apartment. And she even bothers to tell the mobster that it's all there, and then they call the cops and they're waiting for them coming out and they're just moving the stuff out and they have to make excuses. I mean, I thought it was very funny, but it was very clever to use that device and then bring it back at the end, that she would realize she's the one that realized the value of where the money went. And I thought that was also a great touch. It was very clever. I thought it was very cleverly structured, not just as a comedy, but even as a film. To put these little things in, as Barbara said, these Easter eggs, and that's an Easter egg, is to remember, to think back and remember what she did for a living and the magazine that she worked for. And that would come into play at the end. It's like a check-off device, which is what I enjoyed. So all those little things work well. Uh, anybody else? Anybody else have something they'd like to say about the film? Favorite scene, whatever it is. Jackie.
Well, since everybody's talking about the favorite scenes, I have to admit, I did love the bathhouse scene, only because everything was going along at a clip and he did that so well in the slow motion.
Oh,
But
that was fabulous.
to
Yeah.
go back to what Rachel was saying about when they were all sitting at the conference table and she's incorporating the entire team. We need the team, we need the team. And then the poor guy stands up and he says, "Can it include someone from the team?" No.
Right.
No. Like, okay, so we're a team or maybe we're not. That
Yeah.
that, that was really pretty cute too.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. It was like he said, I'll marry you. Yes, that's it. It's all one thing after another. I mean, you have to keep things going. I mean, Mel Brooks said that the key to his comedies was throw 10 jokes to the wall, and at least one of them is going to make you laugh hard enough that if the bad ones just go away. And that's the way he works, or worked, and that's, but here he really structured it so that each scene would be funny in its own right, and then he builds the lines into it. So I thought that was terrific. I thought that was terrific. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, Susan. You're you're still muted.
I'm
There
sorry,
you go.
I just can't get the mute thing.
That's
So
okay.
she's reading his journal and it's so neat. Everything's headlined and everything. And the part that's X'd out, that probably means that he was going to try to switch identities and marry her. I don't know, because I can't. But anyway, I think that's what it meant. And all of a sudden, her heart starts making that sound. Ooh, ooh. And says, "I do love him." I like that.
Yeah, and then at the end, after the titles, her heart made that sound.
Right.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks. Rachel?
I just had a question. Did he do anything else besides this movie?
Uh yeah, he did, but nothing that I could find that I could find looking for. It's let me see. I'll tell you in a second. Uh Let's see if we can find it. Okay. Um, okay. Here it comes. Keep life is. Hey, hold on one second. I'll see if I can get it up here for you. It's funny. I don't know if he did.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up. I can look it up. I don't want to take everybody's time up, but yeah, because I really did enjoy this. It was light, it was fun, and it was just cleverly done. Cleverly
Yeah.
done.
Yes, it was. It was very enjoyable. And it was a highlight that year for Japanese film. I mean, it walked off with a number of awards at the Japanese Film Awards, and also it was a highlight at some of the festivals in the States as well. It got a number of good reviews. I think the critics liked it, audiences liked it, so it did well. It did well. Karen,
Yes, there was one, he did do another film. I don't remember the name of it, but he did one before this, and at Cannes, it didn't get, it got some minor awards. Uh,
uh-huh.
but I looked at a review under, so like it was Southern Australia or something like that online, and that's where I saw that, but I didn't pay attention to the name. I figured you would know it, so.
Yeah, Kenji Uchida. And let's see. Yeah, he did mostly he did some anime film. He's only done about 4 or 5 films. After The Key of Life, he did another comedy called Luck Key. But there was also an amnesia victim. And it was basically, what it was the Koreans took it and they stole it. They did the same thing in Korean. They took his film, but that seems to be his most successful film.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Well, okay. Uh, Next, let's talk about the coming month in April. What I have for you will be, let's see where we are here. Well, we're gonna do films. It's next month is Holocaust month, Remembrance Month, and I thought we do two outstanding films from that period, and they will be. We start with one which is a tragic comedy of sorts. It's a road movie, and it's called The Last Suit. The Last Suit, and it's the story of a man who survived the Holocaust, and many years later, it takes place in present day. Has decided that he wants to go and find the man that saved him at the camps, and he wants to deliver a special suit he's made for him, and we follow his journey, and it is a cross-cultural journey through Europe. He comes from Argentina. He travels from Argentina to Europe, and it is a touching film, beautifully acted film. It has a group of international actors, and it has a lovely ending as well. From there, we move into at the end of the month the Academy Award winner from 2 years ago in foreign language film, international film. It's entitled The Zone of Interest. The Zone of Interest. It's a very powerful film, and it deals with the commandant of Auschwitz. We don't go into the camp. This doesn't deal. This film is so well made and so important because it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. And it's also a characterization of the banality, the true banality of evil. It really explores the true banality of evil. It's an important film and one I think that will be worthy of a good discussion. There are things that happen in it that are really worth discussing and talking about, and especially the making of the film itself. The filmmaking is fabulous, and the acting, and the acting. They're strong. It's a strong film, but I think it's one that really is important. And I hope you'll agree with me on that note. I saw you, Jackie. Thank you.
Where can we find them?
Okay, they're on Canopy. I think the last suit is, and they're also, I think they're also on Amazon. They're in a number of places. I'll tell you right off.
What are the dates?
Oh, the dates. Good question. The dates. The dates are April. Where am I? How did I not put the dates in for April? I think it's April
April 9 and 23.
20, right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Marilyn. Yeah, I do have them there. The 9th and the 23rd. The 9th will be the last suit, and the 23rd will be the zone of interest. And concerning where else you could see definitely on Canopy. And the last suit is available on. Okay, it is available on Amazon Prime Video, and Canopy. And if you get, let's see, free. Yeah, free is Prime Video and Canopy. And something called Pluto TV, if you can get that one. I think that's Spanish TV. But that's where you'll find that one. And Zone of Interest, you'll find is available again on Canopy, Hoopla, Prime. Now, Hoopla, it's only available, it says here it's only available for 11 more days on Hoopla, but it'll be on Canopy. And then there's Plex. But it also, if you don't have Prime Video, it's available also on Prime to pay for. But if you don't have Canopy, there is a way to get it. There is a way for you to get it. I know we did this once before, didn't we, Jackie? Didn't we paste in the thing? It's if you don't have it, it's the Mandel Library is where you go. Mandel. It's in Palm Beach, but you go online and you put in the Mandel Library, and when you go there, anybody can join in Florida. Anybody can join with a Florida address. You're not confined to the county. And then once you join, they give you a library card, and they'll send it to you as well, but they'll give you a library number, and you can source Canopy from there. Canopy and Hoopla are free. Plus, there's a great newsstand, what they call a newsstand, where you get tons of magazines that you could read at any time, all the most recent issues. And we're talking New Yorker, we're talking, anything you might want to read. So just go to the Mandel Library. Put that in your Mandel Library. I think it's .org or
And I just wanted to say on Pluto, I think Pluto is free. It's not Spanish, but you're going to get a lot of commercials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for reminding us about that. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby.
Well, I just finished reading a book about the concentration camp. It is a sequel to The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Uh-huh.
And they made a movie of it, but I can't find it. It was on there, whatever. But the book was something. It was called All the Dark Places. It was was a story of anyways, it was really good. If anybody is, it's, here we go. It's similar, probably to this movie we're going to be watching about the
Uh,
concentration camp,
well, we don't
whatever.
really go into the camp in this film. We don't see the horror of the Holocaust. The real horror is outside the camp. The
That's
horror
what
that
this,
created the camp is the real horror,
yeah.
and who runs the camp. That's what the interesting tact of the film is. It's a different kind of Holocaust film, which is why I thought it would be
Yeah.
something very interesting for us all to see. Because we've all seen the other types of films, and I think this is when it gets. They both really don't deal with that. The Last Suit is really a post-Holocaust film, and it is a different kind of story, a terrific story. And this one is, it's. I don't want to spend time describing it to you because you have
We're
to
going to see it
see it.
next week, in
Yeah,
2 weeks. But
yeah.
that's what
That
this
that one
book
will
is
be that one will be
also.
in 4 weeks. That one will be
Yeah.
in 4 weeks. But
Okay.
you have plenty of time for that.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Yeah, Mel.
I usually don't like to talk too much because we have so many experts in the field. In any case, uh, it's very interesting that some cultures you can enjoy internationally, and some cultures you need to be in the culture to understand what they're talking about.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if there was any in this particular picture, but maybe you can uh, go through it and see if you have any thoughts.
In the Key of Life, in the comedy.
In other
Uh,
words, did we miss anything because it was
well, as I said, yeah, the thing up front, because everybody was laughing at the way her team was looking at her. It was really riffing on the culture. The director was riffing, was making fun of the culture because, Japanese are known for being usually for being so neat and clean. That dust, the bathhouse, the office with the dustbuster, that his apartment was a mess is so against the cultural attitude of the country that somebody would live like that. Whereas, the presumed hitman, his apartment was fastidious. And the idea that, Japanese people having this kind of an imagination, to jump out of their own skin, and be something else, is very interesting. That's it's really a Western idea. He's really making it a multicultural film more than anything else. The so you we have to look at it from that point of view, that he's making fun of certain things. I can't be specific. I mean, the idea of how the apartments, the things they own, the fact that the magazine she worked for, all this high-end stuff. Japanese are very into collecting. They're very into this, collecting Western things is a big thing with the Japanese. So you don't have to be, it's not that much that should inform the film that you need that much Japanese culture. But we if you want to derive something out of it, that's what you get is that it's making fun of the Japanese. He's criticized, holding up a mirror to the Japanese character. Look who you are. Look at the things you do, and they become comedic. The bathhouse becomes a situation for comedy. He's taking things that become situations for comedy more than anything else. I mean, he's not really delving that far into the culture. But if we were to look at it, we'd say the Japanese came a long way from what we think they're like. If anything else, you should say they came a long way from what we think, or we've come a long way from thinking about them the way they were. We see them as a culture that in traditionally in public spaces they don't touch. They don't, they're very reserved. Well, in this film, these characters were anything but reserved. So he was really, in a sense, not, no, I wouldn't say criticizing, but saying, let's let loose and have some fun. He's saying to his own culture. If they were to look at the film, they laughed and they enjoyed the film. And in a sense, it's, let's laugh a little bit. This is what he's telling his own culture. Yeah, Patricia.
Yeah, just to add to that, I've been surprised, maybe lately, since last year. Um, there's several very fantastic jazz musicians that are Japanese. And
Yes.
they are, I mean, Sugawa is outstanding saxophonist. And then there's a young woman also that is doing very, very good, pretty progressive jazz and jazz classic fusion. And I was surprised at the amount of Japanese that are doing that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's yes, they're very into jazz. I mean their literature has become so global in the last few years that it is surprising. I mean their fashion they have become an icon of Western fashion. The Japanese, their jeans, a lot of the things. But what's interesting is you go to Japan and you will see a lot of stores that sell used clothing, but it's used Western clothing. They love American fashion. And they buy used American fashion, and it sells incredibly well in Japan. It's surprising. But yeah, it's become a very I don't want to I would say globalized society in many ways, which is one of the conflicts that society has, this, between cultural tradition and modernity. What we call modernity is a big influence in Japan, and unfortunately, the prime minister was here today. I don't know how many of you had seen that meeting, but there was major faux pas made during that meeting. I'm not going to get into it now. You'll have to watch the news to find out. But one of the things that it was not good, was not good. Uh, what's that, Barbara?
I saw it. I saw what it was.
Yeah, a terrible, terrible thing. So, uh, do you want me to tell them?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, well, the president thought he was making a joke. Okay, and when the prime minister said that, you caught us by surprise with the war, he said, "Well, you're no stranger to surprise."
You saw that.
Pearl Harbor. And he made that, he tried to make it a joke. I mean, I'm sorry. It's some things you don't go. Anyway, I don't want to end on that. I want to end on wishing you a good weekend and a good 2 weeks. And say, oh, by the way, how'd you like that? Did everybody like to see the Academy Awards? Or see what won the Academy Awards? Are you happy with it? Yes, yes,
I didn't
Sandra.
see what they didn't see the movies.
Yeah,
I
there
hadn't
you go.
seen the movies. I'd
Uh,
read about them, but I really hadn't seen the movies. But you had mentioned Sinners and the one that won, and
mhm.
so I did watch, and only one actor got his digs in there, Javier Bardem, with the Free Palestine, But other than that, everybody was civilized and
Yeah, well, it was. This was one of the first shows that was really about the movies.
yeah,
I
it
I
was.
liked what Conan O'Brien did.
Yeah,
I liked his
I came in
introduction.
late.
Yeah, I liked some of the things he did, but and I was happy that Jessie Buckley won for Hamnet. It definitely was deserving of what she won for Best Actress. But there was, and I liked the In Memoriam. The In Memoriam was a
Yes,
highlight, was actually a
yes.
highlight, the way they
It,
handled it, the way they
yeah,
handled it
yeah.
this year.
Uh,
Uh,
The question was asked, why didn't they mention Gene Hackman?
I thought they did. I thought they did show him.
No,
Yeah,
he was,
Patricia?
I read that it wasn't that they left him out on purpose, but that the selection of and the whole thing of In Memoriam was put together before he died.
Well, it was bad, but what about Duval died after he did? I'm surprised. You know,
That's what the I don't know, somewhere Apple News feed or somebody
Yeah.
said
You
that
could
they
always add that in, so that's not a,
yeah, I thought I had seen it. I thought I had seen him in there. I don't know. Maybe
no.
I'm wrong.
what
Says
showed
it's
up.
on Amazon. It doesn't
Hmm?
come up. Says it's on Amazon.
what?
Yeah.
No, he's talking about the Academy.
No, I'm telling you. You're still on.
I'm,
But yeah, but it was especially Billy Crystal for Rob Reiner. I thought was very well done, and Barbara Streisand was terrific.
she
Uh,
was
she was a highlight. She's definitely a highlight. Remembering Robert
that.
Redford.
Yeah, that's where I came in, so I missed a lot of it.
Yeah, well, you should see some of the films if you haven't. The best film, or what was picked as the best film, One Battle After Another, is a terrific movie. It's a movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
And Sinners is it's you got to have it's surprising in many ways.
is it? I haven't seen it, but is it like on the thing of like Roots? Like it's going to be a tough one.
No, it's not like Roots.
It's not that difficult.
It's as people will describe it, they say it becomes a horror movie. And all I could tell you, it's because what it's recalling is horror. It's recalling a horrible point in history. So it's that's really the horror, but it's really an imaginative film. That's all I could say. It's not for everybody's taste, that's for sure.
For
In
someone
film,
like me, it might be difficult to watch.
maybe, maybe, but it's still a highly imaginative film and a very well done film. And Michael B. Jordan certainly was worthy of his award, and he accepted it graciously, I thought. So anyway, and the best foreign language film was a wonderful movie called Sentimental Value, which is an absolutely beautiful film. So I highly recommend that one if you have a chance to see it. Uh, it's a beautiful film, beautiful story. Anyway, I think that's about it.